everyone. I'm Deborah Gardner, the host of Hospitality Today Live, where we have such amazing guests from throughout the hospitality profession that enjoy talking about their perspectives, opinions, stories, lessons, and so much more. And today we have another special guest for you. It happens to be Erin Forrest with Contemporary Resorts and Residences. Now, like many of the hospitality professions out there and professionals, Erin was actually furloughed and then laid off due to COVID-19. Instead of waiting for the pandemic to be over, well, she got busy and decided to utilize her extensive background and expertise in a new type of hospitality world. And now, today, you're going to be able to watch Erin as she shares what happened when she lost her job and how did that make her feel when she received the news? And how did she take her skill set and transition it to benefit her, along with what she discovered as the future of our industry that every hospitality sector will learn from as well. And let's just say the outdoors happens to be the new trend. So stick around and we'll have a great conversation today here on HTL. Today's episode is brought to you by Visibly Media, helping business communicate strategically in print and online. Visiblymedia.com. Well, thank you everyone watching today and welcome back. I've got Erin Forrest here with me. Hi, Erin.
Hi, Deborah. How are you?
I'm doing great now that you're here. Thank you so much. It's kind of fun because we're both in Arizona. So I'm on one side of the state. You're on the other, it seems like. But it's a lot of fun.
New Mexico.
Exactly. I am so excited to talk to you today because you are an amazing woman in my eyes. You have been so brave to take on this COVID-19 head on and really made something happen for yourself. And I'm sure a lot of hospitality professionals in there have been in the same boat that you were as far as being furloughed and laid off. Tell us about that, how that happened, how that made you feel.
Well, I was pretty far removed from the whole situation because I had a baby in January of 2020. And I was still on maternity leave when everything with COVID hit. So for me, it wasn't really quite reality until I found out that, the majority of my hotel staff had been laid off. And, of course, we thought at the time, it would be 3 months or so, and then everybody would be back. And so I ended up taking the layoff and rather than taking a reduce in pay and having the exposure, having 2 daycare bills and, certainly expecting to go back to work as soon as this all blew over. And well, as we all know, it didn't blow over.
That's devastating, I would imagine, because my gosh, you were having a baby at the same time. That had to make you feel really, really sad during all of this.
Yeah, it was hard. And then having a 5-year-old home as well, who literally just got yanked out of his preschool, and all of a sudden we're home constantly and can't go anywhere. So
oh my gosh. And so what'd you do then? I mean, did you obviously you didn't wait around till the hotel wanted to bring you back or anything like that. You decided to shift gears from actually 15 years in the hotel sales world to now the outdoor hospitality world.
Yeah.
Wow.
So after, a couple of months, and my mental health was certainly declining, and, just financially, I needed to go back to work. I started looking, and I was looking in things outside of hospitality. And I ended up having a position, an opportunity with this company, from someone who I worked with 15 years ago. Who had also been in a similar situation, and he had found this new opportunity, and he was looking for someone to come in and help him out with the operations and marketing and everything for the company. So in October, I started working for CRR, which is Contemporary Resorts and Residences, and we are a RV resort developer and manager, and we also have a manufactured housing neighborhood. And currently both of the properties are in Camp Verde, about an hour and a half north of Phoenix. And we have about 4 more projects in the works for 2022 and unlimited projects after that. So
wow, that sounds like an amazing company. I mean, you actually went from, 40% of the unemployed in the US were our hospitality industry, and you were one of those percentages, and you really took it and ran with it. And now look at the company that you work for in a whole new arena, but yet still under the hospitality profession category, which makes you feel good, right?
It does. I feel extremely fortunate to have, taken this bad situation and, had a positive result in it. CRR is an amazing company to work for. They're a very young company. So, we've gone through the exercises of our mission and our vision and our values. And it's been a brand new experience for me being at a company this young and being able to help evolve the company. And I've learned a lot in just the last 6 months, and it's been a lot of fun, and I've met some wonderful people as well.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. And I believe the 2 areas that you focus on is residences, as you mentioned, and the RV resorts. Well, I don't know if you knew this, Erin, but I actually was brought up in a trailer.
You guys.
Yes, this was a 16-footer with a family of 5. I did not have my own bedroom. And you can notice, I love the part that the refrigerator is outside.
Yeah.
But I grew up living outdoors, and this was down in Yuma, Arizona, and all 3 of us kids, we were always playing outside. And I think that's what the RV industry really promotes. And yet it's one of the most memorable times of my life. I love RVing. I've spoken to the RV industry convention before. And I mean, anything I can do to hang around the RV industry is just a thrill. And I believe more and more people are starting to discover this. As a matter of fact, for the 11th day in a row, more than 1 million people actually have been flying around, every U.S. airport, despite the CDC's urging, not to travel. But when it comes to RVing, you don't have to worry about what the CDC says. I mean, you're in your own space, your own road. And it seems like a lot of people have actually picked up this idea from the stats that you shared with me the other day, as a matter of fact, that RV parks and campgrounds have increased 30% just in 2020, and 74% of that was attributed to COVID-19. So this is incredible. Who are these people that are RVing?
They're me and you. They're families. They are young professionals. I certainly had the perception in my mind before starting in this industry that RVers were retired and they were traveling seasonally, whether they were snowbirds or just retired couples or going out and seeing the country. And that is definitely not the case. There is an entire group of families and young professionals. And certainly because of COVID and so many people working from home, it's definitely made it even more accessible for people to be out on the road and working from their rig, traveling and seeing our country. So kind of some of the stats that I looked at is the majority of US and Canada-based campers say that road trips are their safest form of travel right now, because you do have your own confined space that you've cleaned, that it's your own bed that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, that's true. And you have your own things. And I've toured RVs the way they're made today. And I believe another stat that you had shared with us is that 98% of the RVs are made in the US. US produces 60% worldwide. And if anybody gets a chance to walk in one of these RVs to take a look at it, it's like a home today.
Oh, yeah.
Way compared to what I used to do.
They are very luxurious. From multiple bedrooms to your TVs to couches, the way that they're designed now with all the different slide outs, it really increases your living space. And then of course you've got your outdoor living space right outside your door as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like there's a lot of first-time buyers too, because I'm ecstatic about all these stats that you gave in 2020.
I gave you a lot.
I love them. In 2020, 50 to 80% RV buyers are first-time buyers over previously of 25 to 30%. And even the rentals have gone up 65%. So do you think that this trend will continue after the pandemic is over?
I definitely think so. I think people are realizing that it's a very affordable way to travel, especially for families. It's a great way to, see a lot of things along your way, whether you want to stop and see the biggest frying pan or, the world's tallest kachina is in Camp Verde right off of the freeway. Get to experience our country and all the beautiful things that we have to offer. So I definitely think it's going to be a go-to vacation, even coming out of the pandemic.
Well, it's a close-knit community too. I know there's a lot of apps and a lot of websites out there that I think it's kind of neat. If you've got, an RV park that you want to go to, you just go into a community app and ask if anybody's been there. And a lot of people are there already going, oh yeah, come on over and meet us. I mean, it's a very nice, tight community. Everybody's helping everybody out. I think that's what I find very, very unique about it. I'm wondering too, though, who actually owns these RV parks, because there's so many out there, right?
Well, that's the difference between hotel hospitality and outdoor hospitality, is that this is a very mom and pop industry. Okay. I believe it's about 88% of park owners only operate one park. So that is part of our vision that we have created for contemporary resorts and residences, is to become the preferred provider, evolving the industry for the modern world. That's our vision statement. And this is a very, as I said, mom and pop industry. It's a lot of families who run these properties, and there's not a lot of resources available to them. In the hotel world, we have the star report and, comp sets, and we have our brand resources. Within the outdoor hospitality world, there are associations and, national and state associations, but for the most part, you're really on your own. So it is a very tight-knit community that helps each other out. And it's just it's a brand new world to me, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Yeah, I think the association of the RVs is probably, like you said, it is probably the only thing that is going on right now. But do you see it expanding at all? Do you see more RV communities starting to branch out into chapters? And
there are some large companies that own and manage, multiple properties.
Okay.
CRR, one of our goals is to become one of those large companies, but of course we do it property by property, and we want to take our time and do it right rather than expand quickly. And we have our 2 properties up in Camp Verde right now, but we'll be expanding to definitely 2 more properties, and real close to a 3rd property for next year as well. And we just, want to bring our knowledge from hotel hospitality into this new world. Things like dynamic pricing and other resources and things like that just aren't widely used.
Yeah. So comparing it to your 15 years on the hotel side to where you are now, your skill sets, and I think a lot of our viewers that watch are trying to figure out, should I go outside the industry? Should I stay within the industry, but something, instead of hotels, maybe it's, cruise lines, things like that. What were some of the skill sets that have really benefited you in this new position?
I think customer service. Customer service is a skill set that you can take anywhere. Having the mindset that you're here to help people, to make their experience enjoyable. Knowing that a guest who is happy is going to refer X amount of people back to you, that they're going to continue to be a repeat guest. So customer service is just really, not everybody has it, but I feel that those of us within hospitality, it's just so ingrained into us, of taking care of the guest and making it right, and providing that enjoyable experience.
Yeah, it is true. There's nothing like a hospitality professional knows how to service their guests, and it can be as basic as a smile, or it can be as basic as showing respect or really listening. All the basics, right? That people don't think that would be very important, but are very important. And customer service, you can't beat that. And I think we really need to focus on that area. I'm sure you agree, because we're going to be faced with AI coming into our world very, very soon, and that's going to disrupt the customer service version. So we have to pay attention to how we serve the guests more now than ever, because if not, we're going to be replaced.
Yeah, and there's nothing like that personal touch and that human interaction.
Yeah, that's going to be scary. That's going to be really scary. But what you said at the top of the hour too about when you were furloughed, you mentioned that, gosh, it's really important to to really have a good network in order to land somewhere else, like, successfully, like where you have landed with Contemporary. And I believe your number one advice then would be, don't burn bridges, right? As big as our industry is, it's small.
Yeah. Yeah, the hospitality industry is, it seems huge, but we all know each other. We're all connected, and social media platforms and everything are, as we've all discovered over the last 10, 15 years or so, are just a great way to keep in touch with people when you're not necessarily talking to them every day or every 6 months or every year.
Right.
But you're still seeing what's going on in their lives, and you're still able to interact with them, and stay in touch. So that way, when you do see each other, you're up to date on things.
Exactly. Well, you've got some fans commenting and a couple questions too. But I'm going to start with our good buddy, Lynn Wellish, has an actual question for you, Erin. Check this out. Hi, Erin. What is the difference in the shift of the selling cycle from a planner with stakeholders to the end users?
Oh, wow. Well, hi, Lynn. How are you?
Question. She's so brilliant.
Yeah.
She's so brilliant.
You're going to have to you're making me think here.
Well,
so previously, when I was working in hotels, I was doing the meetings and the events and the conferences. That's not so much the case anymore. Now it's really working with the individual guests. We do have groups that we call rallies, which are typically it can be anywhere from 10 rigs up to hundreds of rigs, and they usually have a common thing that brings them all together, whether they all have the same type of RV, or they all like, hiking or going to a specific area. There's a lot of veteran rallies. And so I've been working with them, and it's a much different world than meeting planning, but it's still, it's still the same sales cycle of things.
okay.
It's certainly harder to find them, with prospecting and with hotels. It's okay. Well, let me Google conventions in this zip code, and now I'm just going to pick up the phone and start calling them. And it's much more volunteer based, and it's not a profession that people go around and have these rallies. Now there certainly are RV manufacturers and owners and things like that have them, but for the majority of people, it's a social activity. So.
Oh, interesting.
I hope that answers your question, Lynn.
That's a handful of a question, and a very good one. But you're still dealing with stakeholders and a boss, and you're able to utilize the sales cycle pretty much the same. It's just different audiences. It's a different target market, in other words, and maybe different approaches to the sales cycle, because this is more of a personal sale, whereas the hotel side of it can be, it could be personal, but mostly BT or group selling. So it just depends on your target market on how you're going to approach that. But great question, Lynn. Thank you so much. I totally can see where she's going with on that. And Lynn is so brilliant to be on our show all the time anyway. So she's a big fan. So I do have one more question that I think is going to be kind of off target of Contemporary or your previous situation, but just so proud of you of what you have accomplished. There's no doubt. But I'm sure, looking back at this whole thing, Was there any like one thing that really stands out that you have learned, whether it's personal or professional, that our viewers can say, ah, I went through that, or ah, I didn't know that. Maybe I need to pay attention to that. Is there anything that you'd like to share?
Um, it's just keeping your connections, and don't burn bridges with people from the past, because you never know where you're going to end up, and what's going to happen. And the saying of when one door closes, another one opens, and you never know what's going to be on the other side there.
Yeah, that is really true. And I think that if you're open-minded, and just be patient, because as I always mention, this is not our first rodeo. We in the meetings and events industry in particular, and the whole hospitality profession has been through this before. It's just that this one was just a beast. This one was just it just affected everyone, even in our personal lives. And so for you to bounce back so quickly in the midst of the pandemic is incredible. And it just shows your willingness, your drive, your own brilliancy, to really take care of you and your family. I mean, I just cannot believe you had a baby right at the beginning of all this. But I can also know that what you have accomplished is what a lot of hospitality professionals want to accomplish today, now. And I'm hoping what you have shared today will allow them to see within themselves that, hey, it is possible. And again, you made that happen. Now, I do have one more question that I want to get in here before we close out, and it is from Visibly Media. And they're on the line here, and they say, as connections go, should we follow recruiters or businesses on social media? Or maybe there's some other ideas. Any thoughts to that?
I think definitely both. It certainly doesn't hurt you to follow recruiters, especially follow businesses that you're interested in. If you want to work for someone, learn as much as you can. We're growing our team right now, and I've done a lot of interviews for our properties over the last couple of months, and it's pretty. It's just astonishing to me that people go into an interview not knowing anything about the company, not knowing anything about the industry. And we are certainly a company that will hire over your personality and your drive and your curiosity, and over your skill set, because we can teach you how to check somebody in. We can teach you how to make a reservation. We can teach you how to do an Excel document. But you can't teach someone personality. You can't make someone smile if they don't want to. So, yeah.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Well, this has been such a delight having you here today. I'm sure people will want to connect with you. So I do have your information here at the bottom of the screen. If anybody would like to continue this conversation, especially with now that you have experienced this firsthand, how to go from furloughed, laid off, having a baby, and now you have such a great job, which happens to be the outdoors. How cool is that? Is there anywhere else that people should be connecting with you?
Yeah, email or LinkedIn. Both of those are great. We are working on redoing our website, so we're looking forward to that being launched in the next couple of weeks, and it's gonna. We're really excited about that.
Oh, that is really great. Well, thank you again for being here. I've really enjoyed the quality time with you, which I don't get very often. Wishing you all the best and success. Keep us informed how things are going, and have a great rest of your year.
Thank you. Thank you, Deborah. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Wow, I hope you enjoyed that segment with Erin today. She definitely is such a sweet lady, and she deserves all the best. And I'm just so proud of what she has accomplished in such a short period of time. And I know there's a lot of other hospitality professionals that can actually do the same. And if you did enjoy this, by all means, share this with somebody else in the hospitality profession or somebody else that would like to have some ideas of how to transition, as Erin has proved here today. All you have to do is share our link from YouTube, LinkedIn, or our Facebook page, Hospitality Today Live. I want to thank our sponsor, Visibly Media, for being with us today. And if you have any questions or comments, by all means, reach out to us at hello@hospitalitytodaylive.com. Now, I do want you to keep on your list of things as well. And it turns out we have a big, huge special edition, Global Meetings Industry Day, coming up on Thursday, April 8th. We are going to do an all-day, and I mean an all-day live broadcast with leaders of our industry, something that you are not going to want to miss, that you'll be able to see right here on Hospitality Today Live. Well, next up, I'm sure you want to know who our next guest is. And it turns out another great friend of mine, Kate Christensen. She's the CEO and president of KCA, which is Kate Christensen and Associates. So what is Kate going to share with us? Well, she's going to share how she handled her business during COVID-19, especially since in-person meetings all dried up. She's also going to share the lessons learned from previously, and I'm talking about previously, recessions, pandemics, and all the things that have happened in our industry before, and what she discovered this time. She wants to share that with you, along with learning her personal and professional lessons and her gratitude. And above all, how to prepare for your next pandemic. Because ladies and gentlemen, it is going to happen sooner than we think. So I want you to stay tuned, same time, same channel next week, either on our Facebook page, LinkedIn, or YouTube. I'm Deborah Gardner on behalf of our growing staff here at Hospitality Today Live. Thank you so much for being with us. And remember, if you're thinking about it, we're talking about it right here on HTL. Have a great week, everybody.